Today, we're going to take apart the top gadgets in the Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies, The World Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day. Hi, this is Dan.
And Tom.
From our podcast, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies, and our website, spymovienavigator.com, the premier go-to resources for spy movie fans. All right, we got our tools out again, and here we go.
Yeah, now, like we did in the last episode, we're going to give you a trivia question at the beginning of this episode about a Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie, and we're going to answer it at the end. So, here's the question. It's from my least favorite James Bond movie, Die Another Day. What shape is the bed in the room they give James Bond in Gustav Graves' Ice Palace? So think about that. We'll answer it at the end.
Yeah, see if you can get this one. All right, let's look at The World Is Not Enough, 1999. And wow, we have an OMEGA Seamaster watch.
Wait, an OMEGA Seamaster in a Bond movie?
Back
shocking.
Again.
Positively shocking.
Now, this one has a powerful flashlight. Okay. And a grappling gun. Uh-oh, grappling again. Flashlight? Yeah, believable. Your iPhone has a flashlight. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, just having those things all be like LED lights. Yeah,
big deal.
I don't know when LED came out. I don't know. I haven't done that research, but that totally felt believable to me.
Yeah, the grappling gun has the same problem as any of these devices when you do the physics on this. So the grappling gun thing, again, not believable, especially from a watch, but it is fun.
And it's a way to get out of situations, I guess.
Yeah, it's handy. All right. As much as any car is a gadget, in this movie, The World Is Not Enough, the Q-boat is a gadget. Actually, the whole Q thing goes way back. There was a movie, actually, called Q-Planes, which we talked about in a separate podcast episode. This one has Q's special invention here, though, with missiles and, of course, lots more. Sure, we believe in you, Q-boat.
Well, you and I know it's real because we've been in it, and we know somebody who's driven it.
Yes, so, it exists.
It does
exist. As a matter of fact.
And it does work.
It's at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago right now in the Bond exhibit there.
Yeah, now, Dan, they changed their name. It's no longer called the Museum of Science and Industry. It is now the Griffin Museum of Science and Industry.
Griffin must have donated a lot of money.
Oh, he did. He did. Ken Griffin. He was the Citadel guy, and then he moved his company down to Florida. But he donated. He's a billionaire, and he gave him a lot of money.
All right, so we got the Q-boat. That's good. Now, the helicopters with the circular saws trying to get Bond's BMW, of course, they really exist. They didn't make that up for the movie. These are real. They are used in forests and trimming the treetops. This is how we first see this gadget in this movie. So,
and I think that's great. They show you how they're really used because it does a couple things. One is it kind of proves their viability.
Makes it
that
real.
This isn't something we just created for the movie. We're going to use this later in a nefarious way.
Yeah, there you go. You're trimming treetops, and now we're going to trim Bond's hair.
Or
through his car roof.
Split a car in half, split a building in half, whatever.
So it's believable 100% with cutting edge technology.
Oh, geez, Dan. another Dan pun. All right. I mean, to me, again, this is one of these gadgets. I just totally love it. You're taking something real and can be very helpful in some cases, but sometimes real helpful things can do bad things.
Right. All right. Then we see Bond remotely start and drive his BMW. Not anything like in Tomorrow Never Dies, but still a nice gadget.
Yeah, because I mean, he starts that car and moves it down the bridge so he can get out of the building and hop into it.
Yeah.
So definitely nothing like Tomorrow Never Dies. But taking that technology, remote starting, we've got that, right? So that's real.
Yeah.
Now, could you have it move the car back then? No.
Yeah, probably not. And eventually he shoots a missile from the car, taking down a helicopter with the saw blades, right? But there's a backup helicopter with saws. Oh boy, he's got to deal with that.
We talk about redundancy, and there's redundancy here, and it's a good thing for the helicopter people because
we've seen cars firing missiles many times in Bond movies. I like the Lotus in the Spy Who Loves Me shooting down the helicopter. That was cool from underwater.
Yeah, that was
cool. All right.
Now, then there was one that was a promotion, product placement but there was a credit card that opens into lock picking tools.
Yeah.
And there are lock picking tools in existence,
Yeah.
but generally not for consumer purchasing. So,
But
Dan, you and I can't pick one up.
Oh, I get it. We can't pick one up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to use one of your kind of puns there. All right.
Excellent.
But you got to know a guy to get one.
I know a guy who could put a whole guy in a shoebox this big. I don't know how he does it.
I just want a guy to sell me a lock picking kit that looks
All
like
right.
a credit card.
X-ray glasses. Yes, these have been around forever in fiction and fantasy, of course. Heck, Superman didn't even need glasses. He had X-ray vision. Lois Lane would have been pleased to know that. So, X-ray glasses? Nope, no. Cool vision concept, but going to have to X this one out.
All right, now a couple things about these glasses. One is I like the use of them to be able to. He's looking to see who's packing a gun, right? But they used to sell these X-ray glasses things in the back of magazines, and the ads were pretty funny. And my understanding is it was mostly kids who bought them looking for a cheap thrill, and they learned a lesson about buying something from the back of a magazine.
Yeah. I read about those kids. The damn glasses didn't work. I mean, yeah.
I mean, you were one of those kids, Dan.
Yeah. All
what
right.
did you want to see in it? Never mind.
Remote control glasses.
Okay, so we're staying with glasses here.
We got more glass stuff, right? When Bond is in trouble and trapped by Lachaise's men, he was a Swiss bank.
In the pre-title, yeah.
Yeah, in the pre-title, he uses this gadget to escape. Okay, yes, we can believe Bond's glasses could be used as a triggering device to produce a flash from his Walter PPK or to even shoot it so he can get out of danger. That's a very believable gadget and a handy gadget indeed.
Well, that's true. Now, then I totally think that's a believable gadget and handy, but let's talk about something else that can shoot, if you will. And it's something that we see only in Q's lab. Like there's the bagpipe flamethrower.
Oh, yeah. That comes in handy. You never know when you're going to need to throw a flame from a bagpipe.
Yeah. Now, to me, it was believable. It was a goofy gadget, but that one seemed believable to me at least.
Yeah, it was believable. Yeah. Now, the new Q, played here by John Cleese, and the only time he played Q, by the way, he demonstrates this jacket that opens up into a protective air sphere that protects you from
whatever,
right? And so that's kind of cool. And we see that here. And we see this being used during an avalanche. So it comes in handy once again.
Yeah, it was very convenient. Again, Q he's even giving him clothes to wear now that protect him. Right?
Yeah.
And he just happens to have this thing that'll put that protective barrier on him when the avalanche comes.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Comes in handy.
And then once he's in it, that's where we see the flashlight light. So it all ties together.
Yeah. There you go. And during the briefing, I liked the hologram of Renard. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was a neat use of a hologram in the briefing. And then
it wasn't a gadget Bond used, but they used it in the briefing. So it was a gadget for the briefing.
Yeah. Now, and while she's imprisoned, she makes a very cool gadget to send out her GPS coordinates using the clock battery and this card that she had, this electronic device card that she had. Very MacGyver-like. And for M, this was pretty cool. Seeing M do this. I like that a lot.
Me too.
I wish we'd see M do more stuff like that.
Yeah, it was a nice intuitive way for her to show, hey, I've got some chops here.
Yeah.
Right. So then we get to something that's just nasty. And that's that chair that Elektra uses to entrap Bond.
That was painful.
Right. I mean, she puts him in there, she's got him locked in there, and then she twists that thing and the neck thing tightens on him. And
you can just hear the bones cracking.
Yeah, you can just go like, oh, that just looks so painful.
Yeah. But is this thing believable? Yeah, look, we sat on this for a little bit, but yeah, it's believable. Okay, that's it. The walking stick. Let's look at the walking stick that doubles as a gun. Now, Zukowski has this, right? It's believable. It's in an Ian Fleming novel, Casino Royale. The first attempt on Bond's life while he is seated at the table is a guy with a walking stick that is a gun. And in The Spy Who Loved Me, Bond's ski pole fired a deadly dart. And today, you can purchase walking sticks in some parts of the world that delivers a tremendous amount of voltage to disable a would-be attacker. So yeah, we walk right past this one and believe it.
Dan.
Why?
We walk
walk
right past
past
this.
this one.
It's totally believable device, right? I
It
mean,
is.
you could. There's definitely enough space in there and everything to get that
Absolutely.
done. Yeah.
No problem. All right. All right. That's pretty cool. I think we've covered all of the key gadgets in The World Is Not Enough.
Oh, Dan, you know what that means? That means you got to go to Die Another
That
Day.
means we go to Tom's favorite movie of any James Bond movie, Die Another Day, 2002.
And when you talked about doing this and doing the Brosnan gadgets here,
Yeah, you
that
had to
meant
watch
I
it
have
again.
to watch this movie again. I mean, I tried to leave it out, but we really couldn't. But can I get away from this terrible this one and No Time to Die? If I never see them again, I'm happy.
Yeah,
I had
okay.
to watch this one, Die Another Day, again for this episode. So I hope our listeners appreciate it.
All right. I mean, it's not a great Bond movie, I admit.
Well, but there are some people who like it. So
But it has its moments. There are moments in it that are good. All right. Let's
well,
look at the
pre-title,
gadget.
the pre-title I actually think is really good. The rest
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
movie
The
I think
pre-title was
sucks.
good. It was excellent. All right, let's look at some of the gadgets. The movie starts off with the surfers, but what are they riding the waves on? Yeah, the surfboard. Surfboards in the beginning, of course, surfboards are surfboards, but in the beginning of this movie, the surfboard is both a transportation device and a minor gadget. It basically stores stuff you might need on the mission in Korea or elsewhere. And now, to me, I thought the balance might be an issue here with a weighted down surfboard loaded with gadgets. So I'm not sure that we will ride the waves with this one and say, okay, but heck, we can hang 10 and believe it, I guess.
Yeah, now this is definitely a minor gadget for a minor movie.
It's
Um,
minor.
but that said, I actually think that you could do something like that. I don't know the physics or anything, what's in a
Yeah,
surfboard.
yeah. The only
But
balance thing was the issue.
yeah,
That's the only
so
issue I had with it. You
and
could store stuff in it. Sure.
yeah, balance you can totally just wait out correctly. I mean, yeah, so I actually feel like that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Part of the surfing into the Korean beach, which actually was filmed in Hawaii, by the way, is this combat knife whose handle opens to reveal a beacon dish that will send Van Bierk's helicopter off course to land in a forest where Bond and his team are waiting instead of at Colonel Moon's headquarters in North Korea. Well, with electronic gadgets, the military has a lot of stuff we don't know about, like we said in our previous podcast episode. So we can send out a positive signal on this one and say, sure, it could be done.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's actually foretelling something else that happens in the movie about something where you think you're going to one place and you're going to another.
Yeah.
Now, I'd rather surf into Hawaii, Spain, or the UK rather than North Korea. And the reason I say that, when I said Spain and UK, because the surfing was done on Piahi Beach in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's a place where there's huge surf. They had really highly skilled, well-decorated surfers film this scene. That beach also has the nickname Jaws, another Bond tie-in, and it really was named Jaws before Bond. And I think the shot where we first see Brosnan on the beach is in Cadiz, Spain.
Yes.
And then we see them running, and that's in Aldershot, UK. So movie magic.
Yeah.
In about 12 seconds of film, you get 3 different locations that they try to tell you is one place. And as an aside here, Brosnan got hurt filming the running sequence there. And they had to halt film production for a week so Brosnan could fly to the US for a minor operation. So as we see these spy movies get more action, we see this more and more. I mean, Daniel Craig and Tom Cruise are 2 actors whose injuries shut down production.
Yeah.
And so all of that said, right, this is all the beach stuff, but the part you're talking about with the knife, I just totally think that thing's cool.
Yeah.
Because I think it's an awesome gadget. To me, it's kind of believable that you can put something like that in there. Yeah. And just really, really cool and well camouflaged.
Yeah. Now you're talking about the stunts and everything. The exciting thing here is that these were real stunts, not the CGI stuff that is so obvious in this movie.
What really kills this movie.
I mean,
the movie was bad until you got to that.
There's not a ton of it, but in fact, really, from an article on Yahoo Movies in November 2022, If Lee Tamahori could change anything about his James Bond film Die Another Day, it would be the film's use of CGI in one infamous scene. He said, quote, "The only thing I'd do differently with Die Another Day would be the kite surfing sequence," said Tamahori. Okay, there you go. He agrees with us even.
It was
That
it was
stunk
terrible.
it
That
up.
was just so bad.
Everyone
Right.
hates that in this movie.
Yeah. So now we then get another use of the Omega Seamaster watch as a gadget. Here, he turns the dial and it sets off some big explosions.
There you go.
Now later in the movie, we see the same Omega Seamaster used as a laser, much as we did in GoldenEye cutting through something.
Yeah.
Right. But
The
here
laser
it's
part.
take that thing, totally believable that you could have a remote control detonator in
Sure.
that watch.
Yep. The laser, nah.
Yeah, maybe not so much. But this pre-title brings me to one of my favorite types of weapon, which is the flamethrower. I mean, and
Really? That's
I've
one of your
no,
favorites.
I love these things. I don't know why I'm fascinated by them, but I am fascinated by flamethrowers.
You like the
Now,
bagpipe flamethrower. I know that.
yeah, you give me a flamethrower, you got it good. Now you take that flamethrower and you have it being fired by somebody on top of a hovercraft. Now you've got movie goodness, right? And I said I don't like this movie, but I love the pre-title sequence, and this flamethrower being shot on a hovercraft is one of the reasons I just totally dig this pre-title sequence.
That's pretty cool. All right. Now, the virtual combat simulator, that's pretty cool too, right? It's a cool gadget that is used to train agents to kill the right people in a virtual reality setting. All right. As we're watching, we think it's really happening. Then Q, John Cleese here, steps into the scene to interrupt it. It's a great concept, and it's based on reality, of course. You might recall Moneypenny here has a bit of fun with this gadget in a different scenario. While she's lying on a desk in a virtual love affair with Bond, she is caught. Oh, what fun from this Moneypenny. All right.
Well, and it's really cool that they do that with her because so often in these movies, in these Bond movies, she's there, but she doesn't seem to be having a lot of fun. I mean, when they go to the racetrack, there's
Yeah,
some
she was
fun there
having
and
fun.
stuff. But the racetrack, she was having a good time until she lost. But here, she was having a good time, and it was kind of nice to see.
Yeah. And hey, there are virtual reality machines today that are quite good. So this was totally
Well,
believable.
and at the time of this movie, so when I started at Microsoft, it was in the 1980s. And I think it was like in 1990, I was out in Kirkland and I go into this video arcade and they had a VR machine there. Right.
Yeah.
So this is a few years later. The graphics were way better than what
Yeah.
we had back then. But still the concept is totally believable.
Yeah. There you go.
Next, we see Bond going to the Q lab, and there's some relics from prior movies. Two of the big ones there are Rosa Kleb's shoe with the knife sticking out of it,
Yeah.
and the Bell rocket belt, the
Yeah.
jet belt thing, what most people call it. Right.
Nice to
And
see. I love when they have tie-ins back to the previous missions and so on. I love that in the Bond movies.
yeah,
They should
no,
do
they
more of
they
that.
aren't used in the movies for any effect other than giving you the reminiscence
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to the
which
old
is
day.
fantastic. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Now we got a single digit sonic agitator. What? Yeah.
That's the name of this thing. It's
Q
of course,
demonstrates
it's
it.
the SDSA.
Q demonstrates it.
One pane, unbreakable glass, one standard issue ring finger. Twist so, voila. Ultra high frequency single digit sonic agitator unit.
It's a ring that, when pressed against any kind of glass, even bulletproof, or really it's called ballistic glass, it will shatter the glass when activated. Possible? It's unlikely. Some articles say that a bullet puts a lot of pressure on a small area of the glass. Sound waves do not. So keep hitting the same spot on the glass with bullets and it will shatter. There really is no bulletproof glass. It is bullet resistant materials, plastics, really. One article suggests that blowtorching small areas and the expanding materials caused by the heat will explode the glass. So probably not Q's little single digit sonic agitator. It's a great name, though.
It is a great name, but I haven't really paid because I don't really watch this movie much, but
Let's
I
get to your
don't.
favorite. Let's get to your
Well,
favorite gadget,
but
Tom.
wait, before
The
you
thing you
do,
love about this movie.
before we do that, this ring, I don't remember seeing it on Bond throughout the movie, right? So it's standard issue, and then you don't see him put it on, but somehow it's on his finger and it goes.
Yeah.
So there's a little problem there. No.
Yeah. Well, it's small. You can carry it in his pocket. And
Yeah.
and then if he needs to slip it on, he does.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to your favorite gadget in this whole movie, the invisible car.
Must we?
Everyone loves the invisible car because it's so believable.
Well, especially at the time they did this movie.
Aston Martin call it the Vanquish, we call it the Vanish.
Oh, very good.
Adaptive camouflage. Tiny cameras on all sides project the image they see onto a light-emitting polymer skin on the opposite side. You see, to the casual eye, it's as good as invisible. Plus all the usual refinements, ejector seat, torpedoes, target-seeking shotguns to shoot down mobile objects.
All right, it's not one of our favorite gadgets. It is over the top. I'm going to say this, though. While Japan experimented with this concept on a cape, and I saw the video of this.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah, it's being worn by a man. It looked semi-transparent because it had the cameras on the back showing the back and projecting what the cameras were showing on the back onto the front of the cape, so it looked like you could see right through them. It actually was pretty damn cool.
Well, I know the military's been looking at it.
Yeah, so that part was good. But, a car, and we're not driving down this road with the notion of an invisible car. I'm sorry. Believable? Not. But in a May 2018 article on New Physics entitled Real Life Cloaking Devices Move One Step Closer, it says that, quote, Amanda Hanford, an acoustical engineer from Pennsylvania State University, unveiled a device that looked like a meter-tall cheese grater. It can bend underwater sound waves around an object, making it appear as though the object does not exist. And sound waves that bounce off the cloaking device are reflected in a complex pattern of phases that cancel each other out, thereby making them inaudible to distant receivers. Come on, this is pretty cool. All right, this is acoustic cloaking, but they talk about how this can be done for aircraft as well, hiding from sonar, hiding from radar, hiding from all kinds of things. Yikes. Okay, it's a step. In a 2015 Reuters article, researchers just test an ultra-thin invisibility cloak. The invisibility cloak rerouted light around the object, making it undetectable to visible light.
That was called Harry Potter.
I mean, so progress has been made on this. Companies are doing experiments with this. In 2002, an invisible car? No, probably not. The Gadget Boys went nuts. No way. But they are doing some cool stuff.
But
now.
one of the things that Bond does is they look at what's the future and what can we be bringing, and there has been testing done with this stuff. And today, I mean, for Halloween, you see Halloween costumes all the time now of people walking around looking like they have a hole in their body, and they're just using cameras and screens to do that. Especially as we get flexible screens, I've got to believe something like they do in this movie. If it's not possible yet, it's not a long away. And then imagine having invisible tanks in war, or even invisible troops, an invisible platoon.
Give me planes, man. Give me invisible planes. Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. I'm not going on the ground with invisible tanks. I'm going to fly an invisible plane.
Well, you have stealth bombers and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah. This is fantastical.
Well,
stuff
and with the acoustic
doing.
stuff now, you might not be able to you won't see it, and you might not be able to hear it. It's just all of a sudden, boom, and you get blown up or whatever. Yikes.
All right, here's something we've all wanted: a dream machine. I've had some dreams I'd like to repeat, other dreams I'd like never to repeat. But Gustav Graves, he's got a dream machine. What does it do? It allows him to get a couple of hours of sleep and dream, since he suffers from insomnia due to gene therapy. Believable? Yeah, okay. There are experiments with polyphasic sleep going on today. Now, deep sleep for multiple short periods of time is what they're going after here. So you could be conscious and we be more productive, right? Companies will love this if they could do this to their employees. So it is certainly in the scientific discussions.
So I think it's past the discussion phase. There are companies making stuff kind of like this. Now,
Yeah.
you didn't have all the wires and stuff that were hanging off of this thing,
Yeah.
but we're also, a few years away from what they did in this movie.
Yeah, I think Japan was experimenting with this as well a number of years ago.
Well, they have those
with
red
deep
light
sleep.
masks and stuff. I mean, they're definitely getting there.
All right, so that's great. We're not going to lose any sleep over this one, and we'll call it believable.
Oh, man, you and your puns.
Somewhat.
Oh man. Another thing that happens here, it's kind of cool, and it's all integrated, is this whole battle suit that Gustav Grave has.
That's cool.
Now, he looks really ridiculous in this thing, but it's kind of cool.
It's powerful.
From it, he can control the satellite. From a bodysuit, he can control the plane. I mean, the controls have to be somewhere. And this suit also emits 100,000 volts of electricity in case he wants to fry someone nearby, like his father, for example.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those that you kind of believe it because of the whole setup for the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would say the Icarus satellite is a big gadget for Graves, but can a satellite be I'm not exactly sure, but this suit is a cool gadget. It looks ridiculous, but it does seem to work.
Yeah, it works. I love it.
Yeah. One of the key parts of this suit is this glove that goes on it. We see the glove earlier used where he asks Vlad.
Show me the modifications.
Yeah. Here's the self-defense mechanism. You ask him to build in?
50,000 volts.
100.
So this glove gets put into this suit. We also see the glove used by Graves on Jinx. And she does not look like a happy camper when he does that. I mean, getting zapped with a bunch of electricity would really sting. But this glove would allow you to do that.
Yeah, it would hurt. Although I think, like I said, we can buy walking canes now that have. I think they do have. I don't know if it's 100,000 volts, but they'll knock out any would-be attacker.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know what you call this, but I think that that Jinx hangs from the ceiling and it lets out this cable thing slowly so she can descend to the floor.
It's like opposite of the piton gun, right?
Opposite of a piton gun, kind of like spelunking or whatever they call it.
Yeah, I don't know what you call the device. I mean, it's something that Tom Cruise would use or Ethan Hunt would use.
This is very believable. Very believable. I think,
absolutely.
Boom, attach something up there, lower yourself down. Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it looks like something. Yeah, it looks like something you'd get at a camping store or something.
Okay. I don't know where you go camping, but all right.
I don't go camping. Or okay, maybe mountain climbing store.
All right, let's talk about the underwater rebreather. Wowee!
Yay!
Remember that? Thunderball. It makes another appearance here. Similar looking device to the one in Thunderball. Not exactly the same. Of course, it's an upgrade. Yeah.
So Dan, is it believable?
As before, no. Not gonna believe this. Ask Peter Hunt and the boys. It works for as long as you can hold your breath.
And we've talked about that with Thunderball in the past. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It didn't get an upgrade in the fact that it works.
Yeah. Lasers. Talk about lasers, Tom.
Yeah, we get another return. Right. You know, I like lasers. We have a video out on our YouTube channel on the uses of lasers in spy movies.
Yeah.
But here,
that's cool.
Jinx is about to be cut into pieces with this laser. And this is like an industrial sized laser, kind of like in Goldfinger. It's not a little watch laser. This is a big thing.
Yeah.
And he's bound in the chair. And this is at Gustav Graves' Iceland headquarters. And this laser's going to come and hit its mark and take care of Jinx for us. And Bond comes in and saves the day.
Jinx?
Oh, Jinx! It'll tear up!
Phew,
And then a little bit later, he and Jinx use the laser to cut off Mr. Kill's hand. I love that name, Mr. Kill.
Yep.
Right? They use it to cut off his hand. And a brilliant use of this, because earlier we talked about the thumb scanner and the fact that you really couldn't do that. But here they actually take the hand. So his palm print would get access to the secure zones because it's the real palm print. It's not a picture of the
It
palm
was
print.
a palm print reader, and they needed his palm.
They cut his hand off. There wasn't a lot of
Cut
blood.
it off.
And lasers allowed them to be able to do this.
Yeah.
So
I think lasers, I mean, really, lasers are around. We know they've been around for decades and decades. So it's easy to cut through and any disbelief with this one and see the light on this.
cut through any Dan. Okay. So let's go to something a little more, another thing that's believable. Night vision devices.
Oh, yeah.
We see them in Die Another Day, Living Daylights. And again, they were invented by the Germans in the 1930s. They were used in World War II. So yes, again, we have another believable device.
Yeah, good. And of course, there are the usual missiles fired from the cars in most of the car chases and Die Another Day too. Lots of that kind of stuff. In fact, the Jaguar that Zhao drives in Iceland, Tom and I, we were there because the Ian Fleming Foundation, who collects and restores and loans out for exhibition, they do a fantastic job. They own 43 Bond vehicles that were used in the movies. They have this Jaguar, and it's on display also at the Griffin Museum of Science and Industry now through October 2024. We actually sat in that car, and it is a cool car.
The machine gun didn't work though, Dan.
Machine gun didn't work, and the missiles in the front, I actually bumped into one and one fell off, and it was like that. No, I'm kidding, but it's the car is spectacular. Green color, the green color.
that was really cool. And you know, very very believable that you could mount a machine gun to the back on top of a car like that, and that you could have missiles shoot out of it.
Yeah. Me, I'm not driving a convertible though. If I'm trying to do anything like that, though, I was like, what do you need a convertible for? You're a little accessible.
Yeah, I think
that's the only part. But the car itself is fantastic.
Armor plating and ballistic glass would be the way to go.
We've gone through all of the key gadgets here in the last two Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies. World Is Not Enough, and Tom's favorite, Die Another Day.
This movie Die, please.
That was fun taking apart all these gadgets. And now we're going to answer the trivia question.
So this time around, we're going to give you some possible answers. We asked this question at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
So the question is, what shape is the bed in James Bond's room in Gustav Graves' Ice Palace?
Yeah.
And you've got a couple choices here. We've let you have some time to think. Maybe these choices, if you're not quite sure, will help you here. Was the bed round? Was it in the shape of a penguin? Was it in the shape of a swan? Or was it in the shape of a heart? All right, so what's the answer? Drum roll, please. It was a swan.
A swan. Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. Who
And
got that right?
Was that foreshadowing Madeline Swan? I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, she was rather icy.
Yes.
I didn't. Okay, never mind on that. All right, that is a wrap. This has been Dan
and Tom
of SpyMovieNavigator.com and our podcast show, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. Subscribe to our show and our YouTube channel as well. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you spending time with us. Thanks.